This is an analysis from Alpha Business Media. Imagine for a moment you're standing high in the Himalayas. You're surrounded by what should be the most pristine landscape on Earth. You've even paid a premium for a lodge that promised you an eco-friendly, sustainable experience. But then, you see it.
That plume of smoke, well, it's more than just pollution. It's a signal. It's a symptom of a really deep economic problem that's hiding in plain sight. It represents a huge, dangerous gap between the marketing promise of eco-friendly and the actual reality on the ground. And this isn't just about a few bad apples. It's about an entire market system that's fundamentally broken. So this brings us to the core question of this whole analysis. How on earth is it possible that a tourism market literally built on the idea of a perfect, clean environment actually creates incentives to destroy it? Well, to answer that, we have to look at the economic engine that's driving this whole thing. Look, the problem here isn't a lack of good intentions. Not at all. The problem is a classic, textbook case of market failure. And it's all driven by the simple but incredibly powerful economics of information, or more accurately, the lack of it. It all starts with this concept called asymmetric information. To put it simply, the lodge owner knows exactly what's happening with their garbage, where they're getting their energy from, and whether their eco-claims are real or just marketing. But you, the tourist, booking this from thousands of miles away, you only know what the website tells you. One side has all the facts, the other just has the brochure. And this creates a huge gap. On one side, you have the operational reality, how they actually get rid of trash, what their real energy sources are, and on the other side, you've got the polished image they present to you. When this information gap exists, a tourist simply can't tell the difference between a real eco-pioneer and a very clever fake. And that leads to a really dangerous outcome. That outcome is called adverse selection. Think about it from your perspective. If you can't be 100% sure that a more expensive lodge is actually better for the environment, why would you pay more? You're probably going to go for the cheaper option that's making all the same promises. And this creates a market where the low-quality, low-cost greenwashers just crush it, pushing out the genuine operators who have to bear the very real, very high costs of doing things right. And right here, you can see the financial trap in action. A genuine eco-lodge has massive costs. They're hauling wastes all the way down the mountain, they're investing in solar panels, they're filtering water. Meanwhile, the greenwashing lodge? They just burn their trash in a ravine where no one can see it. Their cost for sustainability is pretty much zero. So they can either dramatically undercut the real eco-lodge on price or just sit back and enjoy a much, much bigger profit margin. So the key takeaway here is this: the current market structure is completely upside down. It actively punishes the businesses that are doing the right thing, and it financially rewards the ones who are faking it. Now this leads to a pretty logical question, right? Can't we just use certifications to close this information gap? Well, as we're about to see, the reality on the ground is way more complicated than that. Okay, so let's talk about certifications. These logos and stamps of approval. While plenty of international standards exist, they often completely fall apart in a unique place like the Himalayas. And the reasons why reveal an even deeper, more systemic problem. You see, the core issue isn't a shortage of standards or logos to put on your website. It's a critical lack of the absolute basic infrastructure. We're talking municipal waste collection and processing that would make those standards mean anything at all. Without that system in place, a certificate on the wall is frankly just a piece of paper. And this brings us to the incredibly frustrating reality for a well-meaning lodge owner. They can do everything right on their own property, meticulously separating plastic, glass, paper. But then what? If there's no garbage truck to come pick it up, if there's no facility to actually process it, where does it all go? The unfortunate and very common answer is the nearest ravine or riverbank. All that on-site effort becomes totally pointless. On top of this infrastructure gap, there's a huge financial one. Getting a major international certification can cost thousands and thousands of dollars every single year. For a big global hotel chain, that's nothing. But for the family-owned tea houses that are the real backbone of Nepal's trekking economy, it's an impossible barrier. They are literally priced out of the market for trust, leaving the field wide open for less honest operators. Now, people often point to Bhutan and its high-value, low-volume model as the answer. But honestly, that's a flawed comparison. Bhutan's success comes from centralized, top-down state control. Nepal's great strength is the exact opposite. It's a vibrant, decentralized, bottom-up free market with thousands of entrepreneurs. Trying to force Bhutan's state-run model onto Nepal's entrepreneurial culture wouldn't just be ineffective, it could destroy the very thing that makes it so special. So if top-down policy isn't the quick answer, what is? Well, the change probably isn't going to come from government regulation, at least not anytime soon. Instead, it's going to be driven by the market itself responding to a powerful new force that's emerging in the premium travel world.
And this leads to a critical insight for any business leader or investor in this space. Just sitting around and waiting for the government to create and enforce a new standard, that's not a strategy. It's basically surrendering to market forces that are moving way, way faster than any policymaking body.
That force is a whole new generation of premium travelers. These people aren't just looking for five-star luxury anymore. They're looking for authentic impact. They're digitally savvy, they're armed with social media, they are deeply skeptical of marketing slogans, and they don't want your promises. They want proof. And this new demand is about to create a brand new type of value.
We call this the verification premium. In the very near future, the most valuable asset a lodge is going to have isn't going to be its view. It's going to be its ability to prove its claims. The power to transparently verify your sustainable practices will directly translate into the power to charge a higher price and build incredible brand loyalty. And this presents a very stark choice. Right now, every single business in this sector is standing at a crossroads. Down one path lies a dangerous downward spiral, but down the other, there's a powerful competitive advantage for the taking. The choice they make in the next few years is going to define their entire future. Path 1 is the status quo. Inaction. This path inevitably leads to a massive, high-profile media expose. You can see the headline now, Everest's Dirty Secret. The reputational damage will be catastrophic. It'll collapse the premium market, and the very word ecotourism will become toxic. Brands will be forced into a brutal race to the bottom, competing on nothing but price. But then there's Path 2, the innovator's advantage. Instead of waiting for a standard, smart businesses will create their own ecosystems of trust. They'll use radical transparency. Think QR codes that link to real-time data on waste management and energy use. They'll realize that the new currency in luxury travel isn't just comfort, it's certainty. And for that certainty, they can command a huge price premium.
Ultimately, the entire game is changing. The winners of the next decade won't be the ones with the slickest marketing slogans. They're going to be the ones with the most credible, transparent, and verifiable proof of their real impact. Because the future of premium travel, not just in the Himalayas but everywhere, lies not in what you promise, but in what you can prove.